Hey guys, what is up? This is FXZT Designs here, and I'm actually waiting for a torrent to download for Adobe After Effects CS4 so I can make a tutorial on how to get that for free. And I'm basically just gonna extract the torrent and then upload that, so you guys don't have to do anything with torrents, which I know can be annoying. So yeah, so I'm gonna show you guys how to make, let me just get an example up real quick. How to make little, let me just wait for Photoshop to open. Well, you've probably seen them on a lot of YouTube channels. They're just little, like, kind of vents on the side. And they look pretty cool if you know how to make them. And that's what I'm going to be showing you guys how to do today. So you're just going to wait for Photoshop to open. And, oh, I think the eraser would be on. Sorry, guys. So basically make something kind of similar to this, and they look really cool on YouTube channels. The only bad thing about these is they do take up, like, I don't know, they're kind of like they're kind of a big file for putting on a YouTube background. I don't know why. They're kind of like simple, but like they take up like a lot more space than like Cinema 4D text, which is kind of surprising to me. So I'm just gonna open up a YouTube template. I'll just open up this one that I was working on. I was gonna make a new channel, but I didn't feel like doing that. So this would have been my background. It's actually a pretty cool background. If any of you guys want it, I can like customize it for you guys and give it to you. So just send me a private message if you want a background like this. And I'm just gonna delete some of these layers. I don't even need the bottom feed. Sorry guys, I should have done this earlier, but one more. And I'm also gonna just make this background layer a little like less visible. Okay, so you're gonna start with your template, and you're just gonna go to your polygonal lasso tool, which is right here. And basically, I like to zoom in a little bit. And you're basically just gonna wanna pick a shape that you wanna use, like maybe, I don't know, but just hold shift, click. Now drag out to where you want it to be, maybe about here. Now I'm gonna go down, click, in a little bit, click, down, click, in a little bit. And I'm just gonna go back up. Okay. So once you have that, you're gonna set your foreground color to whatever you want to fill it with. I usually like to fill the first part with a black. Oh, sorry guys. No, you actually have to make a new layer first and put it behind your little modules. You can hold out and click backspace, and it'll fill the layer. And you just come out and double click. Actually, one sec, this is annoying. Go to select, deselect to get rid of that little border. And you're gonna double click to go to layer properties. And if you're making like kind of like a big one, I would consider this like, this one looks pretty small, so I'm not gonna do it, but usually you would want to do bevel and contour. But I'm not gonna do that today because it's a kind of big vent thing. So you're basically just gonna go maybe like outer glow and drop shadow. You can keep those the same, but I'm gonna change the outer glow. Maybe like red. Because the opacity and the spread. Oh. See, the size is more for like kind of like, I don't know what you call it, feathered edge, and the spread makes it really like, I'm gonna keep it like that actually, but the spread kind of makes it a little sharper. So now you are just going to, I like to zoom in a lot for this part, and you're just going to pick the shape that you want to cut out, like maybe for the sake of this tutorial, and obviously I'm holding shift again. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to do squares because it'll be easier, it won't take as long, and oh, messed up there. Perfect. So you want it to be like, you don't want it to like round around any of the edges, you want it to be kind of sharp. And you're just going to press backspace. And you're going to want to pick a certain number, like I'm going to pick maybe 30, so I'm going to press the down arrow 30 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, so you're basically just gonna continue going down. And I'm not gonna count anymore, I'm just gonna kind of like estimate. But obviously when you're doing this, you're gonna be a little more precise. And maybe, okay, so once you get to a point where like you kind of can't really fit another one, if you know what I'm saying. Like I cannot fit another one there. I'm just gonna kind of draw another shape. Oh no, first you're gonna deselect and you're gonna draw another shape, still holding shift. And you're just gonna basically, yeah, and then you're just gonna go with another, oh, don't forget to deselect. And you're gonna make another shape. Once again, I'm gonna do squares because it's easier. Backspace. And once again, be more careful when you're doing this yourself. Right now I'm just estimating. Actually pretty good for estimating, but more. And once again, I'm just gonna deselect and draw another little shape down here. Delete. And then, oh, yeah, how could I forget this part? You're gonna make a new layer, put it below, and you're gonna zoom in. You don't have to zoom in quite as much for this part. And you're just gonna pick a color. I'll just use blue for, I don't know, but I'm just gonna use blue. And you're basically just gonna go draw around the holes. As long as you're not going past the outer edge and you're not ending before like one of the little holes ends. Like I'll show you what I mean. If I end here and go over, the part above my little lasso tool right there, right up there, is not going to be filled, and obviously you don't want that, so you're just going to want to kind of stay around the end of those, but be careful not to go too far out to the point where you're going to overlap with the little outer glow. And that's basically how you make vents, and you can play around with like maybe like pattern overlay. We take off outer glow, and normally for one of these I would put kind of like a carbon pattern around the outside, and then on the inside I would add a maybe like a kind of like vent looking material, I guess you'd call that, but 50, yeah, and then I would add a color overlay, maybe like whatever my theme color is of like the background, and then I would just change the opacity down so that there's just the slightest bit of that color in there, and that makes it look pretty good. And yeah, that's basically how you make vents in Photoshop, and that's kind of what it looks like way up close. And if you need any help with these, message me and I will be glad to help you, or I could just make you some if you want some vents. And the only thing I do charge for is YouTube background, so please don't ask me to make a YouTube background unless you have more than 1,000 subs. So basically that's how you make a vent in Photoshop. And I know this tutorial is kind of long, but you can like make endless possibilities of vents in Photoshop, and they can all look really cool. So please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will be making more tutorials. And once I hit around 50 subscribers, I will be like one a day, probably tutorials, one tutorial a day. So see you guys later, and bye.